We live, baby.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you for everybody for being here. Episode 3, wrong time, right place. Big Rocket E Money on the mic, on the podcast, live, coming at you on Twitch. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe on YouTube as well whenever you see the video. Appreciate all the support that we've been getting so far. I'm almost at 100 followers, 93 out of 100. So appreciate everybody being here. Episode 3, Happy Halloween. We got some serious good stuff that we wanted to talk about this show. We talking about adulting is hard, and we wanted to talk about specifically this age range of like 16 young adult into adulthood. 16 to 30.
Right,
This
right.
Yeah, take it away.
Yeah. No, yeah, great introduction. Welcome to another episode, wrong time, right place, where we bring in that fire. Yeah, Dalton is hard, man. It's Halloween. And let's be real. Halloween don't feel the same when you an adult. It's not the same. We all going through a lot of trials and tribulations, and we just want to dive into the some of the struggles and challenges that you may face. So appreciate everyone that's in here, and we prepared to have a good show.
Yeah, a big reason we wanted to talk about this is because you know a lot of people go through a lot of stuff, and even though people our age range may feel that they have things figured out or don't have figured it out, they put on this mask. You're not really sure how to handle things at all times. But the mask get put up, the wall gets put up, and then there's kind of this outside pressure as well from your peers, your parents, your siblings, your so on and so forth, who are always trying to be like, oh, you don't have it figured out, and society kind of frowns on our age range because we don't have everything figured out. But in reality, it's society who kind of failed us.
Yeah, well said. And what you said about masks is ironic because it is Halloween, and I saw this meme. It said some of y'all wear masks 365 days of the year, and I was like, dang, it's kind of true. A lot of people, we put on this front of we're not different people. You're different people at home, at work, when you're with your friends. You're living like many different lives, putting on different types of masks. And in reality, I agree with you. It's because the pressures that society has, the expectations that society has laid upon. This is what you're supposed to do. This is how you're supposed to act. And if you don't act that way, or if you have a different mindset or a different opinion on that, then you're wrong. But at the end of the day, like we're all still, as much as we are adults and we are figuring our way out, we're still young. Like 20. I'm 24. You're 25. Like that's not an old. That's not old at all. So the idea that we should have it figured out now, it's kind of exaggerated, and I think you can even start to beat yourself up for not feeling like you're where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, 24, 25, we're still rather young, but I've certainly caught myself feeling really old, really stressed at times,
Hmm.
really misguided, um, with no lack of direction at times. Sometimes I do get like really bogged down with just the daily grind of things. And I'm worried at times of like I don't know what to do moving forward, if I'm moving the right way. And I wanted to ask you a question with that. What are some of the things you think that have kind of been a struggle for you in a sense? Like,
For me, man, it was all about finding myself, finding what my passions were, what it is that makes me get up in the morning. And I've tried many different my hats in many different jobs, as you know, like many different fields, because I grew up around parents that were teachers, and they were all about go to college, you got to get a job. They almost suppressing and I grew up, feel like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to do. I have to go, and but I didn't find enjoyment doing this process. Even, at my best, I still was wondering, like, dang, is there more? Why am I not feeling happiness? And for me, it was really just about finding myself and finding what it is that made me happy, and being unapologetic about it to those. And like, if you guys are in my life, this is who I am, and you have to accept that.
Yeah, I
and I'm not
agree.
gonna conform myself to you.
I agree. I do believe community college really did help me find myself as well. But for you and me, that's something that we're fortunate for. There are a lot of people who can't even afford to go to community college or to go to college to have like kind of an opportunity to kind of do those things and find
Right.
themselves in that avenue. And that is a difficulty, you know, because school really does help you if you can apply yourself in the right areas and you're doing it for you. I feel like if you do things for somebody else, kind of like what you're saying, you got to find yourself. If you're doing it for you, you really can grow through a lot of things and find your way forward. But there are a lot of people um, who have had a negative experience with school and through other people. Like sometimes they go to school for their parents, or school has failed them in the past, high school has failed them in the past, and things like that. So they're just
Thanks.
not very ambitious about it.
And
And
yeah, for me, I took a break from school. I didn't even. It's not something I thought about not going back to school, and I just started. I took a long break because I felt the same way you did. I was like, wow, this is. I'm not getting anything out of this. This is not what I want to do. Even as you dive deeper into it, like we could do a whole segment on school in general, higher education. But um, to me, it wasn't preparing me for what I want out of life. I wanted, but and I think that's what it comes down to. You have to look and see what is it that you want out of life, and what is it that makes you happy. And even if it's small, start just going towards that. And I think that's what's helped me the most too.
yeah, I want
Just
to I want to expand a little bit a little bit more on school. You know,
mhm.
just because school really, like I said, can help you. Um, but
Yeah,
there are those things like in our personal school experience, because I know I went to a lot of classes with you. We went to high school together. We did a lot of things together. Um, School didn't teach me for a lot of things about adulting. They didn't teach me really prepare me for success as far as what kind of career I want to throw myself into, what kind of trades are available to me if I don't want to go to college. They didn't teach me about
yeah,
taxes. They didn't teach me about financial success. They didn't teach me about mental success, mental health, managing these things. And these are kind of topics, I don't know if you heard one that I just pointed out that you want to expand on, but these are things that the school kind of failed me. I know we got 5 people watching right now. Um, uh,
yeah.
if you guys know anything that school kind of failed you or like you wish would have taught you, please comment or put in there so we could talk about it. So I don't know if you heard anything I talked about you want to expand on.
Yeah, and I wanted to expand on that. For sure, I think the school system in that regard failed me as well because it didn't prepare. But and at the same time, I know now that I'm older, I can obviously reflect a little bit. I could tell like it was kind of on me too to go and seek that. But at the same time, we're kids, we're young, we're having high school, we're having fun. So like you're not even thinking about all of these things in the future. We don't know about it. We don't know, like you said, taxes, what it is we're going to be, trade schools, pros and cons of college versus not college. Like no one really sat down and broke these things down to you. And it's kind of like I'm sure if we would have asked like a teacher or somebody, hey, these quite, but how are we supposed to know that? And I think
Right.
that's what high school does fail on. It kind of leaves people to it's just kind of figure it out on your own, and that's kind of my take on high school and why I think that there's so many people that go out and like you said, financial literacy, go graduate and find themselves in debt right out of school. How to ask the right questions,
Right.
we
Right.
don't even we weren't taught that.
Some really good things in chat. How to buy a house,
Hmm.
taxes, financial literacy, how to ask the right
Yeah,
questions. Yeah, like you said, you're young at the time, and when you're in high school, knowing how to ask the right questions that is huge because if you're just focused on having fun and things like that, which most people in high school are, like
Yeah,
they just
boy.
don't know what to do after that. I appreciate the sub, Kyle. Appreciate that. But yeah, no one really knows how to ask the right questions or who to even ask the right questions. How do you know you can trust these people? And we're not given too many examples of success in our lives at that moment beyond our own parents. So if we had more examples of success that we could ask these successful people more questions, you know, that would be better. How do you expect me to succeed if the person that I'm learning from is not quote unquote like more successful? How can I step in their shoes when their shoes are not something that I want to be in? I want to be better than what's presented to me at the time. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Right. That makes sense. It does. Um, I agree with you. It's all about and I think it and that's where it comes down to teachers and these people at these schools like starting to mentor the kids, and prepare them for these tribulations. Like take someone that a kid you see is ambitious, or maybe even if you see him doing the wrong thing. Like I think that's the foundation of school, and what it's supposed to be is to prepare us for the next level of society. And I think grabbing kids by the side and presenting them, hey, this is what you have to look forward to. And I know you may not be thinking about this right now, but it's going to hit you. And even and hearing personal examples, not just reading in a textbook. Like I want to know, like this is real life stuff that is going to happen. And I mean, I don't know. I can only speak for the high school we went to, but I know for sure that didn't happen at ours. And I'd be interested to see if anybody in the chat has had a different experience with their high school. I would love to hear that. And but for the most part, I would say like it's kind of just figure it out on your own after you graduate, and you're just kind of thrown into the fire, and I don't know, and then and then as you get older and older, like to where we are now, you start looking back and you realize like, damn, this shit's tough.
Right.
And
I
I
know.
wish I
I
would have known
know.
that.
I know. Our school experience, we basically just had fun because we knew it was a joke. Like
Right.
school was so easy, you could literally blow through it, and it was a joke. And I know in the gaming world, it's even a meme. NA education. People say NA education all the time, which for the people who don't know, NA education is North America education, and they're basically just clowning on how NA people or North American people are just like smart or not smart. I'm sorry, they're just dumb.
I
Because
didn't know
school
that.
school didn't prepare them. You know, and they're specifically talking about the U.S. I don't know about Canada and all the other places, but they're literally saying people in the US are dumb because they focus too much on math, English, science, math, English, science, math, English, science. Where, I've even done other studies about other countries and how they focus on, kind of like charter schools from a younger age, where if people kind of know what they want to do, they can kind of go to a school geared more towards that at a young age. Um,
um,
I know
I
like
found
Germany,
something.
places like that do it.
I know Will Smith did that with his children. He asked them like Jaden Smith, for example, was like, "Yeah, I want to do music. Like, that's all I want to do is just music." And he put him in a school, like a monastery, that was got just strictly focused on creative and making music, because that's what he said he wanted to do. That's what he loved. And no, you're 100% right. That doesn't that you don't get that in North American schools. You don't even get that in college. Let's talk about that. You go to college and you take these prerequisites that have nothing to do with what you want to do. You're just putting money. It's just to give money to these schools. So
Oh,
even
absolutely.
college,
That's one of the big reasons why I wanted to talk about this topic. In my personal experience, the mental grind is what's done it for me. Like, and I mean so in a negative way. There's just been a huge mental grind over the years and years and years and years and years of work. Uh, and my main part of that is like I've just left myself feeling unfulfilled in a lot of areas of my life because of it. You know, again, it kind of goes into what you're saying. You're passionate about a particular subject in college, but the classes you take are just literally textbooks. There's no like thought or passion put behind them, and I'm not talking about the teachers because teachers, are very wholehearted people. It's a tough job and requires a lot of heart to do that. But I'm just talking about the system and the classes in general, that all the way leads up into your career. Your career can, if you pick the wrong career, and you're not sure about it, because of societal pressures, your parents, so on and so forth, you can feel so burnt out because, like, this mental grind. You're very unfulfilled in what you do day to day, and it just is like a dark cloud that just looms over you. And right now, it's ballooned even more, obviously, because of COVID-19. People don't have their other ways of coping methods behind it to kind of cope with their day to day stuff. So you see a lot of it getting ballooned day to day, where people that you think may be living a great life or um, to you may be great, but to them it could be a very struggle. Just because you
Right.
have money and you have a lot of possessions doesn't mean that the day to day is easy.
And that goes for, and sometimes, even the people, because I've been on the other side where I'm not having money, and I'm looking at people, and I start comparing myself to others. Dang, I see this person doing all this. I'm not in a position where I'm happy or where I want to be, or first saw myself in life, and that can weigh on you too, because you start comparing yourself to others, and that can, and that's something that I've saw myself doing in the past. I stopped doing that, and I recommend everyone stop doing that. Don't compare yourself, because, like Idris just said, people only are going to show you what they want you to see. No, when you look at social media, or you talk to people, even in casually, people you may think people you're close with, they might be going through a lot, but they're just not going to show it. Because I've done the same thing. I've put on these walls to make it to I show out everything's okay, everything's good. Really, I'm really broken down inside. I'm struggling. I'm beating myself up because I'm not where I want to be, and that could definitely drain you, especially because to the outside, everything it looks like everything's fine.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot that goes on with that. Comparison can definitely rob you of a lot of things. And
Hmm.
I like what you said. People show you only what they want you to see. But again, that doesn't mean that they have everything figured out themselves.
Right.
They could be struggling all the same. So you may be wishing that you were in somebody else's shoes, but they probably wish that they're in someone else's shoes too. You uh, Life is about improvement and finding your way through it, and to find people that can help you through these things, um, and associate with is great. That and kind of what you were saying. That's why I also deleted my like Instagram and stuff a long time ago. Living in Las Vegas, I learned a lot of things. Working in hotels and casinos, I learned a lot of things. Um, I worked at the Wynn Las Vegas, and there's a beautiful flower atrium right in the beginning as you walk in through the front doors, and everybody always stops and take pictures there. I would see groups of girls, you know, literally there for vacation, and that's great. But what I would see is that they would all stop and take individual pictures, like doing the same pose, pulling their luggage cart, just like the, whatever pose, pulling their luggage. And I'm like, that is so crazy because they're only showing you a small glimpse that's a doctored glimpse. Like they all
Mm.
took 30 minutes of their day to take the same picture individually instead of just like living their life together in bliss, taking like one picture together like naturally, and they post that on Instagram for somebody else to see, and somebody else is like, oh my gosh, they're living their best life in Vegas, blah 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 blah, whatever. But what they don't know is that was a fake image, pretty much. Like they posed and kind of like fake that, you know, like don't get stressed out about what other people are doing and like try to compare yourself and things like that. Um, Life is difficult. We all got to find
And
our way through it.
that's kind of the topic. Life is hard, and uh, you know that's okay. It's okay that it's hard. Just don't beat yourself up. Like that's the one thing we can't stress enough is you can't beat, because that will kill your mental health. That has killed my mental health. Just being hard. 'Cause I put a lot of expectations on myself. I expect a lot out of myself, and if I don't meet them, I take it really hard, and
Hmm.
almost to a negative degree. So I would suggest that to everybody. Like, even if you're not happy, or you feel like you could do more, and you looking at somebody else, enjoy, trust the journey, trust yourself, keep in getting better is on your own timeline. Improvement is on your own timeline. As long as you're getting better, that's all that matters. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if it's you see the results right away. If you just keep trust the process, and that sounds cliche, but it's really a true thing. Like you gotta, it's a constant battle.
Don't be afraid to seek help either.
Mm-hmm.
Um, pride is a big thing nowadays, and ego and all these things. So if you need help,
Yeah.
I guarantee you there's someone out there who's willing to listen, willing to to help out. And
Yeah.
I pray for everybody who ever feels like they're in that tough spot. Um, don't ever feel like you're too much of a burden on somebody. If you need help and you're doubting yourself on whether you should actually like speak to somebody, speak to somebody. Don't let your thoughts
Yeah.
go unheard. Mental health is
And
serious. I'm a
it is serious.
psychology major, and I'm a psychology major because at that point in my life, I was depressed. Um, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was so lost. And me going to community college like really helped me find myself. I learned a lot about intrinsic happiness, which is basically happiness from within. And it's really difficult to achieve that. It is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of soul searching. So if you need to speak to somebody, please do. Feel free to reach out to me. I don't even know if you know me or not, or if you care to know me, whatever. But if you need somebody to talk to, I'm always here.
Yep. And I can vouch he will always be there. He's always been there for me. And same thing, reach out to to us. Thank you for being on the show. That's what this show is about. And just to follow up on what you're saying, I read a lot of books about like from like people that inspire me. So, and the common thing I've read like books about Steve Harvey, Will Smith. I just read RZA, um, a bunch of others. But the main common thing I want to get to that is talk about having like a mentor or somebody in their life that like took them under their wing and they were able to like express their problems and what they were going to, and they said that like having that outlet and having that person there for them changed their trajectory because they were and there's people that have really been to the lowest point and made it out to be at the top. So don't, and where you're at now is not where you'll be.
Right.
You can always get out of it. In any situation you're in, anything you're going through, just like you said, you have that music, find that person in your life that is close to you, that believes in you, that loves you, and confide, and don't be afraid to do that because um, it really does make a difference having that.
Yeah, association is key. And as difficult as it may seem to find people out there are people who want the best for you, who will give you advice just for you, um, and want nothing out of you or nothing in return because of it. Uh, there are people out there. You just kind of have to put yourself in the right situations to find them, right?
Exactly.
If you're always, if you're always, we kind of talked about it last week. Like you kind of make your own luck. If you're always sulking and being in that mood to the point where you're not willing to put yourself in positions to succeed, you're never gonna find those things. You're never gonna be in the position to do greatness. You know, and I know for a fact it's difficult. You get moody. I get very moody, and I'm a homebody as it is. So you add a bad mood or a sad mood to my homebody esque, and that's already an excuse for me to sit home and do nothing. There are nights and days where I don't want to talk to anybody, and I try my best to pull myself out of it. And some days it just doesn't happen, but every day is a new day. You got to be grateful for the things you have and find those people around you who want you to succeed, and you got to pull each other up.
Yeah. And since it's adulting is hard, episode 3 of the Wrong Time Right Place podcast, shameless plug. Um, everybody, I want to ask you a question, Idris. Um, what is the hardest part about adulting for you?
The hardest part about adulting is definitely the lack of information. The lack of information and that mental grind. No one really taught me how to deal with the mental health portion of it, because
Mm,
I think that plays a big part of it. Um, first it was the lack of information, and because of the lack of information how to handle myself into the future, it led into mental health issues. And I wish the US kind of focused on those things a lot more, such as just psychology, basic psychology, things like that. Shouldn't have to be an elective or something. It should be something that's given out.
Yeah,
Financial literacy course should be something that's given out in high school. These are all things that need to be made time for, and unfortunately, it's not. And I've always been one to believe in humanity and just believe in a lot of things. I've always half glass full kind of person, but it weighs on you when you don't get the same. So
absolutely.
yeah, those things can weigh heavily on your mind for a long time.
It does. It does. And that's a great answer. And I just want to go to show like I just wanted to like say this topic like adult, and this is a great topic because I think it's something that applies to everybody, no matter where you come from, all walks of life. Like we all have our personal challenges and tribulations. For me, adulting always be I kind of say this like adulting, it kills your innocence, almost like because I was like a person that tried to maintain relationships with everybody, be there for people, and try to always and the hardest part for me was even having to sever those relationships because I had to do more and I wanted to do more, and I would keep it's draining and finding out like people aren't there for you like you there for them, or uh finding yourself alone on this road, with your journey is your journey. So other people aren't gonna, they have their own journey. So losing people and having to like, damn, I'm all by myself now. Um, it really weighs on you. And I even found myself like getting like a paranoia almost of like, who can I trust? Who's really, you know what I mean? And that's like the thing that took its toll on me too. It's kind of a mental health thing.
Yeah,
Um,
those are very
when you're
difficult.
alone,
Those are very difficult, and it could be heartbreaking stuff. Like legit friends of 5, 10, 2, whatever, however many years. You might have to sever those relationships, and it could get very difficult because of that. Um,
mm,
there'll be a point though, like I think when you do achieve personal happiness and like you feel at a good point where you can kind of see it in other people. You can see either joy or sadness in other people, and you can kind of feel what kind of light and vibe they're putting off, and it's kind of a blessing, and it hurts at times because there's some of my best friends that I know, some of the people that I love the most, that I just wish nothing but the best for them, but they don't wish it for themselves yet, and it hurts
right.
because there's nothing I can do about it. I can't help that person want more than they want for themselves. I could be supportive and I can encourage them as much as I want, um, but until they make that decision for themselves, I can't do anything else, and it hurts at times.
It does hurt. And you know, the road to well, everyone has their own defined, and this is what I had to do too. Everyone has their own defined definition of success. With success, with I define as success may not be successful to somebody else, and I think I would put. I think sometimes we people in general put their own expectations of success on other people, and that leads to falling out, judgments, or um, pushing someone away. And I just had to, and I know the road to your own, with your own happiness, sometimes it's a lonely road. And for me, it was, to get to this point, I was, man, I was broke. I was about, I had really was just during this whole quarantine, man, it's not long ago. I was kind of found myself like just me figuring out what it is that I want out of life. And as I was doing things for me, people that were close to me stopped coming around or stop, and that was really hard to deal with. And I was like, hey man, because I was priding myself on someone like just like you, always trying to be there for people. I'm always someone that's hey, if you need me, I'm a call. And I think people can vouch for me that I've pretty much done that. And to like when now that I'm going through something, I'm not getting those calls, and you know what I mean. I can't. I'm not getting calls from people. I'm not getting people checking in, and at first a resentment grows, and then an anger, and then a sadness, and it was just like a lot of emotions that I was dealing with. But through it all though, I feel I'm better having gone through it, and that's kind of what I want to say. Like adulting, these struggles, adulting is hard, man. But don't give up. You can't give up. You gotta keep pushing, even though, and if you keep pushing enough, you're gonna have a breakthrough.
Right. And, I appreciate you sharing that. Just uh, even to share things like that, it takes a lot of courage.
Right.
And you have to put your ego aside to share things like that. Um, and I just want to say that it accumulates over time. You know, you kind of have to put these things in place. Like, yes, I do pride myself on being someone who wants to be there for everybody at all times, but you have to put things in perspective as well. And you have to be almost selfish to a sense,
Mhm.
and put some walls up at times for yourself, um, to the point where, like, I'm my own fallback system, or have proper systems in place for yourself. Um, COVID has been hard for me too, but fortunately, I had a lot of supporting factors behind me to help me through, the mental part, the financial parts, the living parts. But there's a lot of people who don't. And
Right.
I like what you said about, just don't give up and believe in yourself, and keep having faith and holding strong. People come out. I just want to appreciate everybody who's in here listening as well. 9 people. It honestly makes a big difference to me. Like, if it's one person or whatever, like, one person being in here is amazing to me. So for the people who
Yeah.
keep coming back and who are in here, I appreciate that. Franco, Kobe, Kyle, Bella, all the way from UK, appreciate it. Um, Pain rate, appreciate all that stuff. If you
Yeah.
guys have any
For real.
questions, please feel free to add in there as well.
Yeah. This the right place. So make sure y'all, yeah, if you guys have anything you want to share, jump in on the topic, or even want something you want us to like talk about a little bit, yeah, feel free to comment. This is a community. We're being interactive. We're sharing. And one thing I heard I want to talk about too is like the support system. One thing that this pandemic really did show me was the difference between friends versus family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there is, we can do a whole show on it. But for me, that an adulting is finding, you have to separate that line because there is a line, and I don't, and friends, and I'm not saying you don't have to be blood to be family. I'm going to say that too. You don't have to be blood to be family, but
Yeah.
there's a line to me. Family and friends, there's a different, and I found like my family through hard times, I leaned on them, and I know some people don't have that, and I know I'm blessed enough to have that crush to I can lean on people close to me, and but whatever it is, like if you have that person, it doesn't have to be blood. It could just find that. Know if you have somebody in your life, and if you don't, hit us up because we could be that person and come be part of our community. That's what this community is all about: leaning on each other to build to build each other up. Not just me, not just money. It's build all of us up to be the best version of ourselves. So for sure, if you like I said, don't feel like you can't hit us up if you're alone because you're not.
Yeah, and I like what you said. Lean. You lean. Don't throw your whole weight on them. Just
Yeah,
lean on them a little
exactly.
bit. Um, but there are a lot of people who want to support you in a lot of different ways, and there are some friends who are better at some things that are better than other things. So you may have a friend who's good with money, but you may have a friend who's good with just listening to you and giving you advice, right? So you got different friends for
Right.
different things, and it can be difficult making friends, but that's kind of what we want to do here. And like I said, I appreciate everybody who I do know who's in here, and I do appreciate the people that I don't know who's in here. So even if I don't know you, just know that I want to get to know you. So um, that's what we want to do: create an active community that we can create betterness in the world, betterness in our communities, betterness in our households, betterness in our relationships,
Mm-hmm.
just all these things.
Yeah.
What are some things you think like we could change to kind of make adulting easier for the future generations?
I was just about to say, adulting is hard, so let's make it easier. And I think it all does start with um, a community, like having people around you that genuinely want to help you succeed, and you the same for them. And that's it. I want to see you do better. You want to see me do better. Now let's work together and hold each other accountable, and go and get these goals together. Everything's easier with together. The more that it's not no one, and it's done. It's going to do it by themselves.
Yeah.
It's hard to do it
Um,
by yourself. So that's why I think let's make it easier. Put those walls down. Um, make yourself a little more vulnerable and trust that, and then yeah, find a community, and all of us working together for the same goal. And your goals become my goals become your goals. Finding those people and pushing through. That's really how I think we can make it easier.
yeah, I think that's a good place to start. And I like what you said about accountability. You know, have those difficult conversations. We talked about real friends
Hmm.
episode one, but have those difficult conversations, and take ownership on yourself first. That's what I wanted to add to it.
Right.
Take ownership and accountability on yourself. Be that person. You know, I heard one time like there's so many people playing the lottery, right? Like trying to get this money, trying to have a great life for their family. But instead of gambling on a lottery ticket, you need to be the lottery ticket. Take
Yeah.
accountability in yourself. Be that lottery ticket
Hmm.
for your family and future generations to come. You know, like
Yeah.
be the one to teach your future family like financial literacy. Teach them how to
Yeah.
be mentally stable. Teach them how to have
Right.
great relationships. Teach them how to be a great mother, a great father, a great brother. Teach them how to be a great friend. Take that accountability on yourself. And when we do things like this, we can raise each other up and build a better world. You know.
And I love what you're saying because it's 100% true. I think to make it easier to find that community, first it has to start with yourself. You have to, and I've had to do this because, like I said, I told you my situation, man. I was in a place I was in a low, dark place. And the first place you have to look at is yourself because that's the one thing you can change. You can't, I can't change other people. I can't go change other people's mind. I have to change me and I have to
Right.
maybe change your habits if you're not happy with me. And I know it's hard, but change your habits, change what you're doing. And then I think from those small changes, you'll kind of start to see the things you want out of life. And I think too, I'm a believer in manifestation. You have to see yourself as this person. You have to have a vision for yourself, who you want to be, to
Right.
go get it. You know, and I love how you said that. I think it does start. The number one step starts with you. And
Gotta go one and zero every day. You gotta find a way to win every day, right? Even if it's something small, find a way to win. Make it
find a way to
happen.
win,
I've
win,
read,
win, and we do it again.
yeah, yeah. I've played. I've listened to a lot of songs, a lot of inspirational stuff. Read a lot of books. So if you guys ever need book recommendations, all that, I got a big library of books that can help you. Um, but I don't know if anybody has any questions in the chat. We'd love to answer some. If you guys have anything along the topics of adulting or life is hard or just some if you want to share your experiences that we can comment on, or if you ever need anything, like I said, just let us know.
Yeah, even if what y'all doing for Halloween? Because it is 10/31, 2020. It's a Saturday, Halloween. So I know somebody got some plans.
It
I
is
don't,
Halloween.
but you got any plans for the Idris?
Oh, I got a whole bunch of nothing. I'll probably be here streaming all day, trying to hit this 100 followers, man. Trying to hit it. Um, which is a small step, but it'll make that those kind of things make me happy. If we can grow our community, all I try to get is like one follower a day. I think that's good enough for me. But
Want to know?
even if I don't, it is what it is. I think it's important to
Yeah,
be organic in those things. Um, so I want people who want to be here and who want to be a part of what we're doing. What about you? You got
we
anything
gotta.
going on?
I gotta work. I gotta go and get this money, and um, I'm not. It's not a job that I'm like super excited about or anything, but it's just part of. It's just a means to an end. And that's how I'm looking at it. So yeah, I'm gonna go and get my hustle on today and see what it's up. But I want to say too, like I think we had a good conversation today on Adulting is Hard. Um, we got some pretty big things coming up with the show too. We got next week. I'm gonna have my video up, so we just getting a little bit better every week on our show. And that's what this show's about, just getting better.
Right. We're still figuring out twos. We're no podcast geniuses. We're no Twitch geniuses. But we're out here just trying to make it happen one week at a time. And we're
I think at a
improving
time.
every time we come out here. And uh, we could do a small summary of what we talked about, you know, on this show for this episode
Mm.
anyway. So we talked about adulting is hard. A lot of things in our past hasn't really set us up for success, and there are hardships that come with that. You're gonna get knocked down sometimes, but it's important to figure out who it is you want to be. Find yourself, find your happiness, find people who want to support you in that, and um, be that ripple of change for the rest of your life, for the rest of your family's life, for the
Right.
rest of everything. You're gonna get knocked down sometimes. Keep pushing, keep trucking.
Yep. We talked a little bit too about how school may not have given you the support or prepared you for adulthood, didn't prepare us. So um, a little bit on the education and people talk about education reform. I think we had we could go. It's a much big top. It's a huge topic. We can go on like, for hours about it. But I think initially I was we had a good conversation on it and brought up some good points on where to start with education reform.
Yeah,
So um,
don't
yeah,
forget like that millennial mindset of like what we're trying to properly display to people came up with the term adulting. So this is a problem that actually exists. Adulting is so difficult that it was coined its own term, you know, and there's a lot of things that encompass adulting that we all just need to learn to deal with. And
millennial mindset. That's a thing.
what?
You said millennial mindset. Is that like a term people say?
I don't even know. Who
Oh,
knows?
okay.
But
Because
I
I'm
feel
like,
like a lot of people don't understand our age. So
yeah. I hear that like, oh, man. I had a conversation with my own dad. He'd be like, you millennials want everything. I'm like, Dad, you don't understand thing. And I think that's just things change. Like it's a different society than it was when they were younger. So it's
right,
not the same thing. The lessons that they were taught may not translate as well today, which is just a natural evolution of life. But
right.
I want to just add to anybody in the comments if you guys want to like give us topics you want to hear us talk about. Join our Discord and put some suggestions in that if you enjoyed and you want to hear us talk about anything because that's what this is about. Um, we here to really inspire and just for we're here for y'all. We're here for y'all.
Yep. I think we can. I don't know if you have any final thoughts. We can get to wrapping up here.
Yeah, that's pretty much my only final thoughts. Is like I said, just you want to hear us talk about anything. Feel free. I think we had a good show. We got plenty more coming. Um, Wrong time, right place. Episode 3.
That's episode 3. Yeah, wrong time, right place. We we always gonna be talking about the things that are the most difficult to go over. But we appreciate everybody being here. It's the right place to talk about or go over these things. I'm gonna post my link to the Discord in the chat right now. If anybody wants to join, you're more than welcome to. All the information can be found on my Twitch as well. And if you weren't able to find this video live, I will post it on my YouTube as I'm getting blinded by the sun right here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate everybody being out here. And thank you guys. We appreciate any feedback that you guys think. Just let us know. Thank y'all so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Halloween.
We out.
Peace.